Alright, let's get some UFC 108 predictions out of the way. Starting off with the undercard real fast. I got Jake Ellenberger, Ryan Jensen, Steve Cantwell, Rafael Alveria. Then we got the card that they'll show on Spike TV, which will be fun. 2-fight little promo card. Dan Lauzon versus Cole Miller. That's a tough one. It's a tough one. You know, Joe Lauzon beat Cole Miller on the Ultimate Fighter 5. But it was back of headshots. I don't know how good Dan Lauzon is compared to Joe Lauzon. I think he's I hesitate to say, but I think Joe's a little more polished than Dan. But I know Dan's bigger. I'm just going to go with Cole Miller. What the hell? I like Cole Miller. I think he's scrappy as hell. It's a close fight, but I'll go with Cole Miller. Moving along, Martin Kampmann versus Jacob Volkmann. Let's go with Martin Kampmann. Alright, now we're to the main card. Junior Dos Santos versus Gilbert Yvel. Now, this is a real weird thing because I would never expect the UFC ever to hire Gilbert Yvel. This guy, you know, is bitten people. He's eye gouged. I want to say Yvel gouged. He's knocked out the ref. He kicked out the ref. But hey, that's what the UFC wants to do. I think there are other people they could get. They're just as talented, if not more, who they never, take an interest in for some reason, over this guy who is, he's got good stand-up, but other than that, it's kind of a shallow ground game. And hopefully they got Steve Mazzagatti as the ref. I don't know. No, hopefully he's changed for the better, and maybe that's all behind him. I got Junior Dos Santos in that. I think all he has to do is take him down and get the sub. We got Duane Ludwig versus Jim Miller. That's a tough one, too. Duane Ludwig is crazy. Crazy good on the feet. And I think Jim Miller is kind of in the mindset where he wants to fight on the feet. That's a toughie. Because Jim Miller is tough as nails, too, though. He's gone some decisions with some really good fighters. But Ludwig is always that spoiler. I remember they brought Goulet in. And Goulet was about, had all this hype to him because he went down to, I think it was 170. Then they brought Duane in to fight him. Duane comes in, KOs him in like the fastest time at the time. They said 13 seconds, but it was more like 5 seconds into the fight. The official, bell ring crap and all that stuff. But Duane has always played that spoiler role. And I'll never know why he wasn't invited back right after that win. I guess he just didn't do enough cocaine like Melvin did. I almost want to bet money on Duane just to see how it goes because he's a real underdog in this. But I see Jim Miller winning decision. Let's go for that. Okay, now we got Joe Lauzon versus Sam Stout. I like Sam Stout. He has a mixed career so far. But I think Joe Lauzon's almost like on a different level than him right now. So I see Joe Lauzon winning. Moving along, Paul Daly versus Dustin Hazlett. I gotta go with my boy Hazlett. If Hazlett can get him to the ground, he can get the sub, I think. Your main event. The main event kind of just shows how lackluster this card is overall. But it's Rashad Evans versus Thiago Silva. And Rashad Evans is one of those guys you wouldn't see headlining a card unless he was fighting some really big name. And Thiago Silva isn't a really big name. You'd expect that to be headlining if he was fighting Tito or Couture or Machida again, or of course Rampage. But I mean, fighting Thiago Silva, that feels like a second, third tier fight right there. I think Rashad Evans will win. I hope he does, because I like the guy. Thiago Silva, mixed feelings on. Sometimes he's kind of a punk. But what he needs to do, I think, he relies too much right now on his stand-up. He needs to mix it up with more takedowns. And I know Thiago Silva is from Brazil, so automatically he's an ace on the ground. But if he could use, the wrestling to control that and try to keep, try to get some ground and pound or something, or just try to lay on him to a decision, that'd be his best route. I hope he doesn't get caught up in the stand-up game, because I think Silva has more power than Evans. Evans may be quicker, but Silva has more power, and you gotta always fear that power. Just overall, it's a lackluster event. It just looks kind of piss poor on paper like that. But hopefully, all the fighters are game and they, come off well. I'm not gonna be ordering it, but I hope the best. I always want to see, good fights go down instead of bad, even if I see them or don't. But I will watch that free Spike stuff. I'll talk to you later, guys. Later.